Hello everyone and welcome again to my channel Press F for Fashion. I know it's been a long time since I posted a video as I was very busy in some freelance project, and after that I started playing Elden Ring as I am a hardcore gamer too. Now that it is over, I am back with making tutorial videos. I thank all my subscribers and the ones who make my comment section quite bright. I truly appreciate you all for your patience with this channel. And just to let you know, you all motivate me to keep making tutorial videos and I'm very much grateful for this. So in this tutorial, we are going to create the basic sleeve pattern to complete the basic pattern set from the book Patternmaking for Fashion Design by Helen Armstrong. And the buying links for this book and the other books that I recommend for pattern making are in the description below. It won't cost you any extra money and will only help out this channel. Now with that out of our way, we can start drafting the basic sleeve pattern. But first we need to take the required measurement of the avatar or the dress form as shown here on the screen right now. So please, if you don't have these measurements, copy and take these measurements and come back. To create the basic sleeve draft, we again have to first create a rectangle with the maximum height or length and width measurement of the arm. Here the maximum length is the overarm length and the maximum width is bicep measurement plus 2 inches, and we'll have to add 4 more inches to it to create extra space for the pivoting method to draw the armhole measurement in the later process of drafting the pattern. Now to create the rectangle, go to the side toolbar menu, then left click and hold press on the polygon option, then click on rectangle, then left click anywhere in the 2D pattern window, and in the create rectangle dialog box, type in the biceps measurement with additional 4 inches in the width option and type in the overarm measurement in the length option. Now to create the partition for front and back, with pattern tool selected, hover the cursor over the top side of the rectangle, then right click and choose the option uniform split and hit OK. Then right click on this midpoint and go to add perpendicular internal line and then click on x-axis, and without changing any value in the dialog box, hit OK, mark this line AB. The next step is A to C, which is the cap height. For the cap height measurement, you can either refer to this sleeve measurement chart or you can use the cap height calculation formula as shown on the screen. Here I am using the sleeve measurement chart. Now to mark A to C, hover the cursor near point A, then right click, choose split, and in the dialog box, type in the cap height measurement in the line 1 option and hit OK, mark this point C. Now right click on point C, go to add perpendicular internal line option and click on Y axis to square out on both sides. In the dialog box, check the both option and hit OK. Next step is C2D, which is 1/2 of C2B. To do this, with pattern tool selected, hover the cursor over C2B line, then right click on it, then click on split, and in the dialog box, choose the uniform split option and hit OK, mark it D. Next step is D2D dash, which is 3/4 of an inch. To mark D dash, with pattern tool selected, hover the cursor near point D, then right click, choose the split option, and in the dialog box, type in 3/4 of an inch in the line 1 option and hit OK, mark it D dash. Now to square out from D, right click on point D and go to add perpendicular line option, click on Y axis, then in the dialog box, check the both option and hit OK. Next step is armhole measurement, for which we need our front and back bodice. Now measure the front and back armhole and add these measurements together, then divide it in half, and after that add 1/4 of an inch to it. Here we now have to pivot from point A until the measurement touches the biceps line. To do this, with the internal polygon line tool selected, left click on point A, then take the line to biceps line and hover the cursor over it left or right till it reaches closest to the required armhole measurement, then right click and in position option, add or subtract from either left or right to get the required measurement. After you have obtained the required measurement, hit OK. Now repeat the same process for other side as well. Next step is C2E, which is marking 1/2 of biceps measurement, then comparing the placement of the two marks, and at last marking the biceps in between. To do this, first divide the biceps measurement into 1/2. Now with pattern tool selected, hover the cursor near point C, then right click, choose split, and in the dialog box, type in the half bicep measurement in the line 1 option and hit OK. Repeat the same process for the other side as well. Now hover the cursor in between the armhole measurement point and biceps point, then right click, choose split, and in the dialog box, check the uniform split option and hit OK. Repeat this for the other side as well. Then delete the previously drawn lines from point A to the biceps line and the points to except the midpoint. Mark the points E and F respectively. Then with the internal polygon line tool selected, draw the lines from A to E and A to F. Now we have to divide AE and AF into fourths. To do this, with pattern tool selected, right click on AE line, choose split, check the uniform split option, and in the number of segment, scroll it to 4 and hit OK. Mark and label it G, H and K respectively. Repeat the same process for the AF line, then mark and label it L, M and N respectively. Next step is B2O and B2P, which is 2 inches less than CE. To do this, first subtract 2 inches from CE measurement. Now right click on the lower side of the rectangle and click on add point to intersection option. Then hover the cursor near the point B and right click, choose split. Then type in the measurement you obtained after deducting 2 inches from CE in the line 1 option and hit OK. Mark it O. Repeat the same process for the other side as well and mark it P. Then with internal polygon line tool selected, draw a line from O to E and P to F. The next step is squaring lines from G, H, K, L, M and N respectively, for which you can refer to the chart displayed on the screen right now. To do this, first pattern tool selected, click on point G, go to add perpendicular internal line, then click on local option. In the dialog box, type in 3/8 of an inch in the length option, and to square it in, check the reverse option and hit OK. Now again, right click on point H, go to add perpendicular internal line, then click on local option. Here in the dialog box, type in 1/4 of an inch in the length option, and if it is squaring out by default, don't check the reverse option and hit OK. Again, right click on point K, go to add perpendicular internal line, then click on local option, and in the dialog box type in 5/8 of an inch in the length option. It is also squaring out, so just hit OK. Repeat the same process for squaring out or in for L, M and N respectively as per reference displayed on the screen, and please note to change the squaring direction, check or uncheck the reverse option in the dialog box. The next step is to shape the front and back cap line. For the front cap line, it should be touching A, L, M and N respectively. To do this, with internal polygon line tool selected, click on point A, then take the line to the tip of L. Here, hold press Ctrl and left click to create the curve points on it. Then pass it through M and N, creating curve points on the tip of them too, and end the line at point F by double clicking on it. Now you can shift the curve points away from the tips by using edit curve point tool to create more suitable curve for the cap line. You can also add more curve points to it to get the desired shape. Again, for the back cap line, repeat the same method where it should be touching AKH and ending at E. Please keep in mind the curve line should be touching the tip of each designated point, so draw the curved lines accordingly. Next step is labeling elbow level S and extending line R 1/4 of an inch. Then drawing line from R to E. To do this, right click on horizontal D line, then click on add point to intersection. Label S at the front intersection point. Repeat the same process for the back side. Now hover the cursor near the intersection point, then right click, choose split, and in the dialog box type in 3/4 of an inch in the line 1 option and hit OK. Mark this point R, and then with internal polygon line tool selected, draw a line from E to R. Also delete the previously drawn OE line next to ER. Next step is R to T, which is 1/2 of R to D. To do this, with pattern tool selected, hover the cursor over R to D, right click on it, choose split, and in the dialog box, check the uniform split option and hit OK. Mark this point T. Next step is R to U, which is 1 inches. To do this, with pattern tool selected, right click on point R, go to add perpendicular internal line, then click on local option, and in the dialog box, change the angle to 180 degree, and then type in 1 inches in the length option and check the reverse option too. Then hit OK. Next step is T to U, which is equal to R to T. Now with internal polygon line tool selected, click on point T and take the line to the extended R line point, then right click on it, and in the dialog box type in the RT line measurement in the length option and hit OK. Mark it U, then delete the extended R line. Next step is O to E, which is 3/4 of an inch. To do this, with pattern tool selected, hover the cursor near point O, then right click on the line, choose split, and in the dialog box type in 3/4 of an inch in the length option and hit OK. Mark this point V. Now we have to draw a line from U through V, which should be equal to S to P. To do this, first measure S to P by left clicking on S to P line, then with internal line tool selected, click on point U and take the line to point V, then right click on it, and in the dialog box type in the S2P measurement in the length option and hit OK. Mark this extended point W. Next step is W2X, which is equal to O2P. To do this, first measure the O2P line by hold pressing shift, then left click and selecting the lines. Now with the internal polygon line tool selected, click on point W and take the line to past point P, then hover the cursor over it, right or left, till it reaches closest to the required measurement of S2P, then right click on it. And in the dialog box, go to position option, then add or subtract from either left or right values to obtain the required S2P measurement. After obtaining the required measurement, hit OK, mark this point X. Now we have to draw a slightly curved line from X to S to F. To do this, with internal polygon line tool selected, click on point S and draw a line to point X. Hold press Ctrl and left click to create a curve point near point S and bend it slightly inwards, touching the S2P line to draw the curved line. The next step is ease control notches, and here we start with the back first, where we have to mark notch ½ inch up from G and the second notch ½ inch above it. To do this, with pattern tool selected, right click on AE cap line, then click on add point to intersection. Now right click near point G, choose split. In the dialog box, type in ½ inches in the line 1 option and hit OK. Now select the notch tool and left click on this newly created point to create first notch. Again with the pattern tool selected, hover the cursor over this point, then right click, choose split, and in the dialog box, type in ½ inch in the line 1 option and hit OK. Repeat the same process as before to create the second notch at the back. Now convert the segment point at G into curve point by right clicking on it and then clicking on the convert to curve point option. Again for the front, we have to mark one notch ½ inch above N. To do this, use the same method that we use for creating notch at the back. Don't forget to convert the segment points into curve points when you are done. Now we are done with our basic sleeve pattern. Name it front and back as it is shown here. The last step is tracing, construction and simulation of the sleeve pattern. So we first start with tracing the pattern. To do this, simply select the trace pattern tool. Now go to the sleeve pattern, hold press shift and left click to select all pattern outlines one by one, including the dot. When you are done with tracing, right click anywhere on the yellow highlighted outline, then click on trace as a pattern option and drag the trace pattern away from the block. Now to clean the unwanted internal lines, right click anywhere in the 2D window and in the pop-up menu, click on lock all the pattern outlines. Now left click and marquee select the sleeve pattern and hit delete. Then to unlock the pattern outlines, right click and in the pop-up menu, click on unlock all pattern outlines. Now we can start sewing the patterns. To do this, click on free sewing tool, then hold press shift and left click, then start creating the first sewing line starting from E and ending at F. Now go to the back pattern and by holding press shift and left clicking, create the corresponding sewing lines all the way from the bottom of the back bodice armhole to the bottom of front bodice armhole. Repeat the same process for sewing the side seam of the sleeve and dart. Now that we are finished with sewing, go to the 3D window and in the left on screen toolbar menu, click on avatar display option and in the slider menu, click on arrangement point option. Now select the sleeve pattern in the 2D window and position it above the overarm arrangement points and left click to place. Now we have to create the sleeve pattern for the other side too to complete the pair. To do this, simply marquee select the sleeve pattern, then right click and in the pop menu, click on symmetric pattern with sewing option, and after that another sleeve will be created and will be placed automatically in the 3D window on the avatar. And now that both sleeves are in their correct position, just hit the space bar to simulate and we are done with the sleeve pattern. And this is it. I hope you have now learned to draft a sleeve pattern in Clo3d and you have the complete basic pattern set now. And if you don't have the complete set yet, you can watch my previous videos to complete it. If you like this video, don't forget to give a like, share and subscribe. I'll see you all again in the next tutorial video. Till then, keep pressing up and peace out.